Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in today's episode of The Hypnotist, you're going to be listening to a hypnosis session created for a child that was worried about competing and their performance in certain things that were being evaluated. Now, for children, one of the things that can be challenging is environments where there is winners and losers and scores and performance. And it's actually a really important environment for children to get used to, because you're not going to win everything that you attempt. And one of the key skills to learn is that by being positive, by being committed, by practicing, you can improve in your ability to get good at virtually anything. But this particular child was exceptionally good at various things in their life. And because of that, entering this new areas that were kind of sports related, but not necessarily, she was not meeting the same standards that she was in other areas of her life, even though she had done those things for longer. And what was happening is she was worrying about those particular things. She was worrying about doing badly or getting something wrong or receiving negative feedback from a teacher. So I did a few thought exercises where she would switch a worrisome thought with a more empowering thought. But what you're going to hear in this particular recording is the hypnosis session that followed. I could tell that she was a very big fan of animals. So I asked her favorite animal, and she said it was a leopard. She chose the name Connie as the leopard, and she wanted Connie the leopard to be good at gymnastics, but leopard gymnastics. I really like working with children because once you've established rapport, their imaginations are just incredible. And the speed of thinking is amazing because there's very little resistance once they buy into the idea that it's going to be helpful for them. So in this almost bedtime story type of hypnosis, it tells the story of a leopard called Connie that isn't very good at leopard gymnastics. But by changing her thoughts into positive thoughts, that gives her the motivation to keep practicing, and then she gets better, and then eventually she wins the Leopard Olympics. Clearly it's designed to be a metaphor, but there's a few things in here that's designed to give thinking strategies, but also positive, powerful ideas about what it takes to be good. And sometimes if you believe that you're not good at something, that can take away the resources to make you want to practice and get better. But believing that you can be better, or you will be better, or even that you will be the best, even if that isn't true, is a very helpful thought to give you more confidence and give you the resources to do what would be necessary to create that self-fulfilling prophecy. Because it links to a routine that this child would listen to audio before going to sleep, there is no standard awakening and there is no standard outro to this. So it could be quite good either for children or adults to listen to this just before you go to bed, designed to give you a feeling of confidence and to deal with worrisome thoughts. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Okay, take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, just imagine you're breathing in a wonderful feeling of calm relaxation. And when you breathe out, just relax your eyelids and make yourself all comfortable. I want you to imagine that when you breathe in again, you're breathing in a bright color that represents not just relaxation, but confidence. And maybe it's a bright yellow or a bright orange. So you feel like you're breathing in that relaxation and confidence. But when you exhale and you allow the breath to leave your body, I want you to feel like any worries, any stress, any tension is leaving your body in that outward breath. Breathing in that bright color and exhaling any tension and feeling like any grey or shadows are just leaving your body in your outward breath. So just by breathing in and breathing out, you can start to feel more and more sleepy, more and more comfortable as your eyelids get heavier and heavier. And I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine a jungle. And in that jungle, I want you to see a shy, timid leopard called Connie. As you breathe in and breathe out, I want you to look at Connie and see how sleepy she is. And I want you to see that Connie is yawning. And as you look at Connie yawning, you start to feel that you're becoming sleepier and sleepier. Your eyelids start to feel heavy and relaxed, feeling more and more comfortable as you imagine Connie, the shy, timid leopard in the jungle. And I want you to imagine as you see Connie start to yawn and get sleepier and sleepier, I want you to imagine that Connie starts to fall asleep. And when Connie starts to fall asleep, she has thoughts in her mind. Because nobody knows that Connie has a dream of winning the Leopard Olympics. Connie has a dream of winning the Leopard Olympics for leopard gymnastics. As you imagine Connie dreaming about that, because she doesn't have that much confidence to begin with, Connie starts to have movies in her mind of getting things wrong. One of the things they do in the Leopard Olympics is leap from tree to tree. And Connie has these thoughts where when she leaps from one tree to the other tree, she doesn't land on the tree and she falls down. And every time she thinks of making a mistake or doing something wrong, Connie the leopard starts to feel worried that maybe she's not good enough. But I want you to imagine that Connie has learned a very special trick. I want you to imagine that whenever Connie imagines doing something wrong, she makes that movie in her imagination go really small and far away like a tiny dot. Whoosh. And then she imagines doing the thing that she got wrong really, really well. Whoosh. And she thinks about doing it really, really well, leaping from tree to tree, landing perfectly, stretching and climbing. She can see her whole routine, and she's doing it perfectly. And whenever she makes a mistake in her imagination, she'll rewind it and play it back until she's happy she's doing it to the best of her ability, just in her imagination. And the more Connie thinks about doing things well, the more confident she feels, and the more excited she feels about the future. So that the next day when Connie wakes up, Connie wants to train really hard and practice lots, because Connie wants to make things in reality like how it is in her imagination. And then the next night, Connie gets sleepy again, but this time the worries that Connie has are not images and movies in her mind, but words. Connie starts thinking of all of the other leopards that are better at gymnastics than she is. And Connie starts to worry. I'm not as good as the other leopards. But Connie knows the trick. So she scrambles up those words and sounds in her mind and then replaces it with a really confident phrase. I can be as good as any other leopard at gymnastics. And that makes her feel a little bit more confident. And then she says, I will be as good as any other leopard at gymnastics. And that makes her feel even more confident. But then she says, I will be the very best at leopard gymnastics. And when she says that, an idea pops into her head of winning the Leopard Olympics. She can see all of the things that she did to win the Leopard Olympics. And then she sees herself like she's a different leopard on a podium where a judge is putting a gold medal around her neck. And she is the Olympic champion at Leopard Olympics. And this is just in her imagination. But Connie knows that because she's thinking about this, she's going to practice more and more. She's going to learn whenever she makes a mistake. And whenever the teachers around her tell her that she's done something wrong, that will just motivate her even more to get really good at leopard gymnastics. And Connie practices and practices and keeps practicing until one day those thoughts she had in her mind of winning the Leopard Olympics for gymnastics comes true. Because she believed it and practiced hard and kept thinking about doing well. One day, all of those things she thinks about comes true. until she's standing there on the podium, feeling how good it feels to have that gold medal put around her neck. And Connie the Leopard is the Olympic champion for Leopard Olympics. And I want you to imagine that all along, you were Connie the Leopard. This is your gold medal around your neck. And you feel like you've just won the Leopard Olympics. I want you to keep breathing in and breathing out, because sometimes you'll listen to this audio just before you fall asleep, and sometimes you'll listen at a different time when you want to wake up. So I'm going to very soon count from 1 to 10, and if you're listening at nighttime and it's ready to go to sleep, you will just drift off and fall asleep and wake up the next morning. But if you're listening to this and you need to wake up, when I get to 10, you will awaken feeling alert and positive, with all of your worries turned into hope and optimism and motivation to keep practicing, starting to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,